Hey, my name's Larry Roberts. I've been to Dave's basic class. I've been to his advanced class. Jamie Burleigh was my partner towards the end of advanced class. Since I got done with advanced class, I've been just really trying to dive deep into as many skills as I can. That's hard because you become kind of like a jack of all trades and you don't get to specialize in one thing. So I mean, it can kind of be a little bit overwhelming. But basically what I've been doing with my YouTube channel is I've teamed up with another guy, Justin Wolf. He's on Facebook. We're all over the place. And what we've done is we have looked at some of the survival shows. I watch all the survival shows. I don't care what they are, what they have to offer. There's usually something that I can glean out of it, whether it's something I've not to do or something to do. And what we have done is we watch the survival shows, we pick out a skill or two that they gloss over. And then Justin tries to do it his way with his skill set in his area, which is Kansas. And then I try to do it with my skill set in my area, which is Minnesota. So I'm married, my kids are basically grown up, so I've got a lot of free time on my hands. So I make a lot of videos and do this stuff a lot. As far as the skills that they show on the survival shows, what we're doing is not a mocking thing, or it's not, I can do this way better than you, or this is the way we should have done it. Maybe a little bit, this is the way you should have done it, or whatever, but it's not I know what to do and you don't, you suck, whatever. It's not that, it's just purely, hey, I saw that on TV, can I try that? You know, a lot of people will see something on TV and, oh, hey, I saw it on TV, or I read it in a book, or I saw it on YouTube. That means it's fact. Absolutely fact. And in my area, it's fact. That can't be farther from the truth. You see it on TV, you see it on YouTube, you read it in a book, you have to try it out for yourself. It may work in Minnesota, where I have birch and I have pine and I have stuff like cattails. Justin in Kansas doesn't have pine, and he's got, you know, very poor cedar. Resources like that. His skill set is different than mine. He's been doing this for a long time, but he's self-taught. He's never been to a gathering like this. He's never been to one of Dave's classes. So it's completely different. One thing in particular, you know, like I said, we do the TV show skills, watch them and stuff, but one thing in particular was a book that comes to mind, was a book that Dave recommended, because I've started to get into the primitive trapping and stuff like that, and Dave recommended a book to me. Well, it's got the figure 4 deadfall in it, which Jamie showed us the proper way to do a figure 4 deadfall. Well, if you look at that book's picture, it's completely wrong. So someone who only is exposed to that book goes out and you know, hey, that's the way to make a figure 4 deadfall. And it's wrong. The picture's wrong. So you have to go out, and what I do is I go out and experiment with this stuff and really try it and see if I can replicate it. That was one of the first things when we first showed up. We got here about 10 minutes before the briefing, and Dave was talking about your equipment and being able to replicate certain things with your equipment. Can I replicate a skill that I saw on TV or on YouTube or that Dave has done, whatever? Can I replicate that skill? If you can't replicate that skill, you've got the theory, the real base theory, but you don't have the knowledge that goes along with it. You don't own that skill. And so that's what I've been trying to do. Something real basic, like I was watching a TV show early on when we first started this. It's, by the way, guys, it's called Clothed and Confident. My wife came up with the name. It's a, you know, obviously Nathan and Afraid deal. But these guys were out and they wanted to do, you know, a scenario, a lot of scenarios. They want to make a fire. They've got a camera. Boom, they break open the lens of the camera, got a solar fire, bam, done. It's about a minute on TV, maybe a minute and a half. I don't know about you guys, but I've never broken a pair of binoculars, a camera, anything like that to get the lens out of there. How do you, I mean, can you do it? Is it feasible? So Justin took a pair of binoculars that he had laying around the house, and I took a pair of binoculars, and we have a knife. We didn't take a multi-tool. All they had on TV was a knife. How do you get the lens out? So I'm sitting out there and I'm just sawing on it. You know, I'm looking at it. There's no threads that I see. I'm an electrician, so I'm semi-mechanically, you know, able. So I'm sitting there checking it out, trying to, you don't want to beat it, you don't want to break it. Long story short, I think it took me about 40 minutes and the stupid thing finally fell out. It was because there's a little keeper ring in there that screws into the lens and keeps it in there. I had no idea, you know. That's just kind of some of the things that we do. Another thing on the survival shows, it always seems like they've got a nice chunk of elephant crap. Well, does elephant crap hold an ember? Well, I don't know about you guys, but I don't have access to elephants, but I've got access to horse and cow. I live out in the sticks. I've got 46 acres. I used to have a hobby farm. So I've got a lot of manure out in my pasture. So one of the things we said is, can we get a piece of whatever kind of crap to light on fire? And not with a lighter, or, at least first try to do it with a ferro rod. It was raining like crazy in his area, Justin's area. He wasn't able to get the horse crap to ember up or anything like that. I actually was able to get, I believe, some cow crap to ember up and some horse crap to ember up. I mean, that's how they made fires back in the pioneer days, so they tell us, right? And that's what they say. It's all in all the history books. I wanted to see if it was possible, and it was. It held an ember. It didn't smell. I've never lit crap on fire, but that's kind of the stuff that I do. I go home and light crap on fire. So, I mean, it's just, I guess kind of the moral of the story is definitely experiment with what you see on YouTube or TV or whatever, and just don't, obviously I know most of you folks don't take what you see on TV as gospel, but even YouTube, it's amazing. I make long videos. I make long videos because when I first started watching videos, it seemed like flint and steel fire. Somebody would have it in about 5 minutes. For me, some of this stuff is hard, and I've talked to other people who have said that it's hard. What's the angle? What's the correct angle? What kind of rocks do you look for? Blah, blah, blah. And I'll try to explain that. I'll make a half-hour, 45-minute video. A lot of people don't want to watch that, but if you're interested in seriously learning how to do a skill, that's the best I can do, because we're not at a gathering. So that's the best I can do. I have to make a long video and show you the best I can. And a 6-minute video of bam, bam, char cloths on fire, tinder bundles up, man, look at how I boiled that water, it's awesome. That didn't really teach me anything. That's more entertainment as far as I'm concerned. Now that we've been doing some of the scenarios with this Clothed and Confident, what we've started to do is, it first started out checking out skills on the survival shows and trying to, see if we could replicate them, see how, easy or hard or something like that. What did they skip over? Can we replicate that? Michael Hawk did a video or a TV show where he took some, he was pretending he was out in the woods with his wife, and he had some high-octane moonshine or something in his canteen, and he poured that on his tinder, and he was able to make a flint and steel fire with it. Anybody who has experimented with a flint and steel fire knows that natural materials that's not charred is a very difficult fire to do. I know there's a lot of people out there that say, oh, just all you got to do is just use cattail fluff or milkweed fluff or whatever. That's cool. Maybe it's possible, but there are very few natural materials that you can get a flat flint steel fire. Horseless fungus I've done, chaga I've done, I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. But anyway, he used that alcohol. In Minnesota, the highest proof alcohol you can get is Bacardi 151, I think it's called. I can't get Everclear or anything. I sat and I tried and I tried and I tried to get this fire to go. I even did another video where I tried to do it. I actually messaged Michael Hawk and I said, dude, how did you do this? He said it took us 45 minutes to an hour to get it, and then finally it went. And he said it was all sorts of combinations of hurry up and do the alcohol, and while the fumes were still going, boom, boom, do it. Okay, so it was 15 to 30 seconds worth of TV, and it took that dude 45 minutes to an hour to make a flint and steel fire with alcohol. That's just kind of the things that we're just showing, like, guys, this is gonna take you a while. If you want to try to, don't think because you got a little bit of booze in your pocket that you're gonna be able to strike the back of your neck and make this happen. It's not gonna work. So we've kind of moved on to that a little bit, kind of dissected all the survival shows, and we've gone into more scenarios. I don't have I don't know about you guys, but when Dave was doing those sand shoots, and they're starting to do them again, those were some of my most favorite videos. Those were awesome. They took like normal people, gave them scenarios, and you know, sink or swim. Let's see what you guys can do. Let's see what good things come out of it, and let's see what bad things come out of it. I don't have the resources that Dave has available to me, or to him, so I have to kind of be the guinea pig and do the scenario thing. One of the ones that I did is we both did it actually, but the unprepared hunter and the prepared hunter. Some of the folks up by me kind of, oh yeah, I can survive out in the woods, I got my rifle, blah, 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 but they don't carry the 5 C's, let alone the 10 C's, okay? You go out into the woods without the 5 C's and one little thing goes wrong and you are screwed. The last deer hunting opener, it was 2 below at my house, okay? I sat, if you guys have never experienced below zero weather for a long time, it's an eye-opening experience. Dave says survival is imminent life or death. It's survival getting from your front door to your car. I'm just saying, it's a cold, wicked son of a gun. When you take in that breath of air and your lungs hurt and you start coughing, all you want to do is just get in your car and get out of that cold, if you're not dressed for it. I'm talking about like going to work and stuff like that. So anyway, I did this unprepared hunter deal, and it had snowed. It was, I don't know, probably had I can't remember, 6 inches. It had started to melt, so it was above freezing, and it was starting to melt and stuff like that. And I went out just with what a normal hunter would take. And we actually asked some people on Facebook and just people who we knew, what do you normally take when you go hunting? And we got a list. A lot of people don't even take a lighter. Unless you're a smoker, they don't take a lighter. And I'll be honest with you, in Minnesota, we tend to drink a little bit. So most of them are hungover when they go out. So they're dehydrated right away. Anyway, I went out and basically spent all day and then kind of pretended I was lost. I didn't have any shelter. Maybe my skill set didn't allow me to make a shelter. We have pine here. On my property, on my 46 acres, I've got like 1 pine tree. And I'm not going to sacrifice it for a video. I like it. So I'm not going to make a pine bough, perfect, awesome shelter. I've got what we call popples, which are aspen trees. And basically they're just straight up saplings. There's not a whole lot to make shelter with, and there wasn't enough snow. There wasn't enough snow to make like a nice snow hut and stuff like that. So anyway, I was out there and I had leaky boots on. These boots right now are nice and waterproof. I don't know if you guys have ever had boots that just all of a sudden one year they're not waterproof anymore. And how do you know they're not waterproof? Because your feet get wet. So I was out there with leaky boots. It was, like I said, mid-30s, and I'm walking around all day with leaky boots on. It got nighttime. We're kind of simulating something. Where am I going to lay down? The ground is totally saturated. I've got nothing really to lay on. Maybe I could have made a stick bed if I'd have thought about it, but you're not really thinking about it, If you're out in that situation, the normal person's going to kind of start to freak out. So I shoveled the snow off a log and laid down on a log for a while. And I did that, made some updates and stuff, and I actually had George there to kind of spot me, because, if you drift off to sleep and you get hypothermia, you might not wake up again, I just wanted to make it as safe as I could. Well, about 2 o'clock in the morning, I started really feeling it. I'm like, hey, this is a video, I'm not getting paid, to do this. I'm about ready to call it. And I kind of did my closing statements, and I really didn't think I was that bad off. I had a little bit of trouble kind of talking to the camera, but looking back on that and watching how I was talking, and it came across on the camera a little bit more dramatic than what I was actually feeling. But I remember thinking, holy crap, I need to get inside. And when I got inside, I could not warm up. I cuddled up right, my wife wasn't real appreciative, but I cuddled up hardcore next to my wife. My feet didn't thaw out until the next day. I had never really had experience with upper 30s and wet feet, but I got frost sniff. I wasn't able to feel my toes for 2 weeks. I was scared to death. I was like, man, this is maybe taking a little too far for YouTube. But it just kind of, that's kind of the stuff I'm doing, within reason, trying to keep it safe and stuff, just proving the point to some of the people out there who may not take this stuff as serious as what, most of us do, trying to educate some people. I've actually had people message me and say, man, that was an awesome video. I wish I could share it with my young hunter safety course people. after we did that video, we did the prepared hunter. And I wasn't that prepared, but I had my stainless steel bottle, I had a 5x7 tarp, I had an emergency space blanket, and I had at least a lighter, maybe even a ferrule rod, I can't remember. So by the time night rolled around, I had a fire, I was able to pump hot liquids into me, and I had a space blanket. It was survival, you know, it wasn't, I tend to say it's survival just because if I went to sleep it would be cold and suck. But I basically had to feed the fire all night long. It sucked, but I made it till the next day. That's the difference. You can either sleep on a log and maybe lose your feet, maybe lose your toes, maybe lose your life, or you can pack a few things and survive and get home the next day. Maybe, you know, hopefully you told your wife or whoever that you were supposed to be back that night, and hopefully they're showing you, or hopefully they're coming to look for you. So anyway, when I first got on the internet, I was pretty gullible. Somebody posted something, I was like, man, that dude knows exactly what he's talking about. Well, it didn't take long to figure out that most of the crap that's out there is basically that crap. And you know, I wish I had a patch that said armchair bushcrafter, because that's basically, I mean, I know there's a lot more skilled people than me. I'm just super starting out, but I mean, there's a lot of dudes out there that are serious experts, according to Facebook, you know. But anyway, one of the things I didn't know George. I've only known him for a couple years now, but I belong to the Pathfinder Learning Center, and somebody had linked a video of a guy hammock camping in super cold weather. I don't know if you guys know him, but his name is Shug. I don't even know what his
buddy.
Yeah, I can't hardly watch him, to be honest with you. It's a little odd. But he's a tough son of a gun, and he's hammock camping in like 40 below. It's 40 frickin' below. If you guys have never experienced 40 below, it's a wake-up call. You go to sleep, you hope to goodness you still got your ears and your fingers and stuff like that left. I mean, it's a hardcore deal. So I was like, whoa, man, these guys are hammock camping. If it were me, I'd have a tarp and, you know, a sleeping bag and a fire and stuff like that, which kind of leads me back to I 100% love the wool blanket. I 100% love it. You think you're going to survive at 20 below with a wool blanket, no fire, or even with a fire? You think you can survive? You think it's going to be comfortable? I encourage you to give it a try. But anyway, George posted a video. He's like, yeah, I got my system, and I'm going to try a new hang. And I can't remember what he was doing, if it was like 5 below. And he was right outside his house, which is totally the way that I try a new skill. If I try a long fire video and it's 5 below with a wool blanket, I did it right in my front yard. I'm not going to go into the deep dark woods. I'm going to do it right in my front yard. He did it right out in his backyard. He did a 5 below hang. 5 below in a hammock. I got just started in hammock camping, and it was like 80 degrees out when I went to bed, and all I had was a wool blanket. I woke up, I was like, oh my gosh, it's like 30. I looked at my watch, it was like 67, because I didn't do it right. I didn't have an underquilt. The next time he posted, I think it was 17 below. I'm like, dude, you are the shiznit. You are doing it for real. These other people, you know, not many people hang when it's 17 below, 20 below. Not many people do that. So I friended him, and we talked, and we've been kind of backpacking and hanging out since then. So anyway, that's my shtick. This is his shtick with the camping stuff. George knows his stuff when it comes to camping.
Hey guys. Thanks, Larry.